Smell.
Oh, I'm just waiting for it to go. You're all set. If I don't kick that over.
Should I ask them to have a seat?
Yeah, if you want to tell them, go ahead.
If you mind, folks, can you take a seat so we can start the meeting? I'd like to call this meeting to order, Struthers City Council, Wednesday, January 11th, 2023, 7:01 p.m. Clerk, can you call the roll?
Yes. Mr. Ballack?
Here.
Mr. Bayes?
I'm here.
Mr. Beagley? Here. Mr. Burnside?
Here.
Mr. Carcelli?
Here.
Ms. Greenwood?
Here.
Ms. Pingley? Here. President Patrick?
Here. Stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I want to thank you all for coming down. Mayor Miller, we're going to turn the floor over to you.
I want to welcome you all here tonight. We have talked between City Council and City Administration, and we wanted to do something to honor those people who were the first responders to the scene that we had in Struthers on December 21st. We had a house fire on Edison. I'm going to go through a little bit of the details. I know we had a few of our officers who were there that night, who showed up first. Officer Ritter and Officer Rossi showed up to the scene and tried to do everything they could to get to a little girl in the back window of the house that was engulfed in flames. Not knowing it at the time, but the young girl was the niece of one of our officers here at Struthers. Trying to get ladders and trying to get to the young girl, our fire department showed up as fast as they could, like they normally do. They're usually first on the scene to everything, and they collectively, the four of them, were able to get the young girl down from the house and rescue her, and literally save this young girl's life. Now, I will speak, I know all four of these gentlemen, and I can speak for our police department, our fire department. They are not about the accolades. They're not about getting credit for what they're doing. It's part of their job is to protect our city and to serve our residents and to save whoever they can in different situations. So I know they're not too fond of getting awards, but we really feel like they deserve to be recognized for the quick response that they gave that night, and also quick thinking and just the teamwork. We always talk about Struthers with our administration, with our council, about how we try to do everything together and try to do everything as a team. And that night, I was on scene there too, and to see how our departments work together, our police, our fire, our EMT, our dispatchers, we had mutual aid from a lot of different places, just to see that all come together was really a humbling experience, to see everybody working with each other to help the neighbors of the city. Everybody was really there. I know we had one of our fire engineers' wives was on the ground with a stethoscope checking out some of the kids, and really, our city really comes together in times of need. And we do want to honor and recognize 4 individuals that are here that were first on the scene. So if you guys would please come up, I'm going to read through some proclamations and some awards that we have for you. Officer Louis Rossi, Officer James Ritter, Engineer Scott Harris, and volunteer firefighter Rob Dittman, who comes to everything that he's called to. Maybe if you guys would face this way. Actually, I'm going to face this way and read. You guys right here. Okay, so we have some pins. Yours is coming. That you can put on your uniforms. First time doing this. And I would like to read really quick. Chief Roddy cannot be here. He's on vacation this week. I just want to read. Keith wanted me to present 2 life-saving awards for our 2 officers. I'm just going to read it real quickly. On December 21st, 2022, you responded to a structure fire at 507 Edison Street to assist the Struthers Fire Department. You and Patrolman Rossi, You and Patrolman Rossi arrived at the fire department. The response to the needs of the victims you encountered as you arrived were exactly what anyone would expect from a police officer. However, your care and compassion for the victim that was burned was inspiring. The actions you displayed in exemplary performance in the saving of the young child that was trapped on the 2nd floor of the residence was amazing and one that all officers who truly love their profession dream of. For these actions, I want to thank you and present you with the commendation for life saving. With this, I am also awarding you 16 hours of paid time. This one. This one is for Bruce Rossi. And we have to very nicely tell Officer Rossi he can't keep running into burning buildings because he doesn't have the proper equipment. However, did what any person in his position would have done. Our police, our fire would just try to get to that young girl as quick as they can. So, we'd like to thank both of you. And then I have your proclamation. This is for and I'm going to hold yours too so I can read them. I'm going to read a couple because they're both a little bit different. Okay, this one is for Dittman and Harris. Proclamation. Whereas the city of Struthers, Ohio recognizes Struthers firefighter Scott Harris and Rob Dittman for their ongoing dedication to the city in which they work. Whereas at a moment's notice, firefighters are quick to respond to uncertain situations to mitigate danger and combat the threat of destructive fire in order to protect individuals, families, and the economic being of our community. And whereas day in and day out, they provide the quality and quantity of diverse services required and expected by the citizens of their local government with efficiency, effectiveness, and integrity. And whereas the demands of firefighting are accompanied by both personal and physical tolls that all firefighters knowingly accept while risking their lives to protect the lives of others. Whereas the city of Struthers recognizes the dedication of Scott Harris and Rob Dittman and the Struthers Fire Department, as well as value the services they render. This is for our 2 officers. Whereas the city of Struthers, Ohio recognizes Struthers police officers James Ritter and Louis Rossi for their ongoing dedication to the city in which they work. Whereas at a moment's notice, police officers are quick to respond to uncertain situations to mitigate danger in order to protect individuals, families, and the economic being of our community. And whereas day in and day out, they provide the quality and quantity of diverse services required and expected by citizens of their local government with efficiency, effectiveness, and integrity. And whereas in American community, law enforcement officers are committed to the preservation of life and property, risking their lives to protect us and serving the cause of justice. And whereas law enforcement officers accept a profound responsibility and work to uphold our laws, safeguard our rights and freedoms, and serve on the front lines in the fight against crime and terrorism. And whereas the city of Struthers recognizes the dedication of James Ritter and Louis Rossi and the Struthers Police Department, as well as the value of their services they render. So if we could give these gentlemen a but again, we wanted to thank you guys for going above and beyond every time you respond to anything within the city of Struthers. We greatly value you and appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
Good job, guys.
Very good. Thank you, Louis. Jimmy?
Good job, Brett. Thanks.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Okay, at this time, I wish to also thank our police and fire of having a good working relationship with the drop of a dime and responding for emergency. We value these guys more than you realize, and want to thank you all too. Okay. I need a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the second regular meeting dated Wednesday, December 28, 2022, except and prepared by the clerk. Ronnie makes the motion. Dallas seconds that.
Yes, Mr. Ballack?
Yes.
Mr. Bayes?
Yes.
Mr. Beagley?
Yes.
Mr. Burnside?
Yes.
Mr. Carselli?
Yes.
Ms. Greenwood? Yes. Ms. Pingley?
Okay, communications, we have 3 pieces.
Yes, number 1, Struthers Tax Office monthly reports for tax collections for the month of December 2022, submitted by Ryan Wagowski, Struthers Tax Commissioner. Number 2, letter received January 9, 2023, from Judge Dominic Leone III regarding drug court open house on Tuesday, January 24, 2023, from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. And number 3, Mayor's report dated Monday, January 9th, 2023, submitted by Mayor Catherine Chacon Miller.
Okay, council, you heard the reading of communication. Need a motion to receive and file. Ricky makes a motion.
I'll make a motion to receive and file.
Dallas seconds that.
Mr. Ballack?
Yes.
Mr. Bayes?
Yes.
Mr. Beagley?
Yes.
Mr. Burnside?
Yes.
Mr. Carselli?
Yes.
Ms. Greenwood? Yes. Ms. Pingley?
Mayor's report, Mayor Miller.
On January 18th at 5:30 p.m., Tax Commissioner Ryan Rogalski will be holding a live webinar on the city's Facebook page. He will be explaining the ins and outs of the city's income tax and will go over the most frequently asked questions. There will be a question and answer session during the last 10 minutes of the live stream. The 8th annual Wedding Rewind charity event for Life Bank will be on March 18th at 7 p.m. at Drake's Landing. Please contact Jacqueline's Bridal or visit their Facebook page for more ticket information. The Hope Foundation and WKBN, Caring for Our Community, are now accepting nominations for their Lifetime Achievement Honoree Awards. These are any honorees who have gone above and beyond to help or assist others in the Valley. Please visit their website, hopemv.org, for more information. We would also like to congratulate Struthers resident Debbie Larson for placing first in both of her Toastmaster speeches last month. And as always in January, our street department will continue picking up any real Christmas trees. Please just place them curbside with no lights or ornaments.
Okay, questions, comments for our mayor? If none, report of standing committees.
Finance and Legislation Committee for January 18th at 6:15.
6:15?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm sorry, 6 o'clock.
I was going to say.
Okay. Any other committees? If none, okay, we got 2 pieces of legislation at this time. Does anyone wish to have any questions or comments on our legislation only at this time? If none, clerk, you read number 1.
Yes, number 1, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and safety service director to enter into a contract with KO Consulting, LLC, for grant services for calendar year 2023.
Okay, council, you heard the reading of the ordinance. I need a motion to send this to a second reading.
Make a motion.
Lori makes a motion. Bob seconds that.
Mr. Ballack?
Yes.
Mr. Bayes?
Yes.
Mr. Beagley?
Yes.
Mr. Burnside?
Yes.
Mr. Carselli?
Yes.
Ms. Greenwood? Yes. Ms. Pingley?
Okay. Number 2.
Yes. Number 2, an ordinance authorizing the treasurer of the city of Struthers to open a new bank account with Huntington Bank for the purpose of collecting receipts for medical transfer services and declaring an emergency.
Okay, council, you heard the reading of the ordinance. You need a motion to suspend the rules of council, place the ordinance passed. Dallas makes a motion. Megan seconds that.
Mr. Ballack?
Yes.
Mr. Bayes?
Yes.
Mr. Beagley?
Yes.
Mr. Burnside?
Yes.
Mr. Carselli?
Yes.
Ms. Greenwood? Yes. Ms. Pingley?
Questions or comments under suspension? If none, I need a motion to pass as read.
Passes red.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Ballack?
Yes.
Mr. Bayes?
Yes.
Mr. Beagley?
Yes.
Mr. Burnside?
Yes.
Mr. Carselli?
Yes.
Ms. Greenwood?
Yes.
Ms. Pingley?
Okay, thank you. Unfinished business. New business. Report of our law director.
I have no report this evening.
Is there any questions for our law director? Report our auditor. I believe she-
I have no report this evening, Mr. Chairman.
Questions or comments for auditor? Report of our safety director, Bob.
No report this evening.
Questions or comments for our safety director? If none, okay, at this time, anyone wishing to address council, come up to the front here, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Tom Blau. I live at 550 Sexton. I got a couple of quick questions. First off, I couldn't believe when I went by the fire station, and I'm sure that there's a reason. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. Why did we put asphalt shingles on? I know they're cheaper, but how much cheaper? We're gonna be the only commercial business in the Mahoning and Trumbull County area that build a new commercial building and put shingles on it. Is there a quick answer? I mean, I'm not being smart. I don't understand.
Mike, can I?
Go ahead, Mayor.
When we go through all of these discussions, we meet with the architect, with the different companies. We went down to everything so detailed to the covers on the light switches. So that was something we had talked with our architect about, and everybody felt pretty comfortable with that decision. There were some things that we did have to cut cost, and we had to outweigh what we needed and what some wants were. So there were some things that we had to do that about, but everything was signed off on completely.
I understand. I just found it a little bit, I drove by every now and then because there was not much progress being made, and then all of a sudden I ride by and I see a roofer up there putting shingles on it. And I can't remember the last time I seen a building being built, a commercial building. And half of the houses that people are putting metal on. But it's here or there and it's done.
The cost, I know, was a lot more
Significant.
significant, and we already had been over budget, and then everything with COVID, it just compiled. So there were a lot of cuts that we had to make to that in order to get the guys and girls and women what they need.
Gotcha. And then quickly, not to take up everybody's time, basically would be my ward I would be concerned about. Kat, we talked about it again, but I'd like to know if there's some type of a protocol or is there a rule set up regarding the creek that's running down the back. I had wastewater treatment down there. They laughed at me and said, you gotta clean it up, Well, whatever. Okay, some people have their backyards cleaned up by the creek nice, some people don't. My question is, when I had one of the gentlemen, I'm not gonna mention his name, I never really cared for him, that's here or there. I always thought he was special. With that said, I got a tree that washed down. Now this is 6 or 8 months ago. A tree that washed down from upstream, and now is across the creek in my backyard on my property. And when I have them come and look at it, well, it's not our problem because you gotta take care of the stuff by the creek. That's what I'm being told. That's okay, but why should I have to pay for somebody's tree that was from up the creek that floated down to mine? Now I gotta pay to either take my own time to get it chopped up and or pay somebody to come and chip it. Do we have any rules, or I think this should be looked at? Because that is not fair. Again, if I choose to leave it look like crap, then it's my business. Previous administrations, we had a tree fall. They sent somebody down and got the tree cut up, trimmed up, and hauled away. Now, I had the wastewater come down, they basically laughed in my face. We had them real bad storms is when this stuff happened. So I'd just like council to be aware of it, and I would like someone to decide whose responsibility is this? Is it the homeowner? Can I get a burn permit? Because I'll clean it up myself and burn it, but I don't want cops, neighbors, and everybody come screaming when I'm burning it. Because I sure as heck ain't gonna get paid for to get it chopped up, because it's not mine. It came from upstream.
You wouldn't need a
If I-
permit, you wouldn't need a permit to burn.
Well, then could I get a permit? Is it that easy?
You wouldn't need one.
I don't need one?
No.
I thought it was a no burning city.
No,
Would,
no, you're allowed to have a fire in your
As long as
backyard.
it's wood.
Yeah,
Boy, it's wood, but you don't have to be cooking?
no.
Tom, the ordinance says it's recreational fire and you're only allowed so big, you can't have,
This is what I'm talking about.
And it has to be so many feet away from the structure.
right.
Well, it's 300 feet
And it's
away
gotta
from the
be,
structure,
it's gotta be monitored, you gotta have somebody there.
like as in.
You standing there
Oh, yeah.
watching it.
Uh,
The whole thing is, what I'm saying, it's apparent no one's gonna help, okay? Especially wastewater, they let me
Okay.
down completely, okay?
Okay,
So I don't have no problem, and I've done it before, 20 years ago, before Cal was even a mayor. I lit a bonfire down there like nobody's business, you know what I mean? And I just burned everything up. Trying to do things the right way, it's not causing a skiff, but if I need to do that,
You couldn't have a huge bonfire. There's dimensions to how
Yeah,
it has
there
to
is.
go.
well, yeah. okay.
But just so you know,
Yeah.
you are allowed to burn.
Right.
It has to be so many feet from a
So in other
structure.
words, like last time when I had the area about as big as this, I put 6 gallons of fuel and did a bow and arrow into the middle of it. I shouldn't do that next time.
I mean, as cool as that
It
is,
was cool.
It
You
sounds
should've seen it.
cool,
It
but-
looked like a nuclear bomb went off. And it was so fast, Dallas, by the time the fire department would have got there, it was out.
but no, just so you know,
Okay.
future
Mike,
reference.
if I could.
the mayor wishes to address this.
A couple things. So first of all, the administration at the wastewater treatment plant has not changed in the last few years. So that has remained the same. So how they handle things is exactly how they've handled things under the previous administration. None of that has changed. I don't tell them how to do their job. They advise me on what their protocol is. Was that tree cleaned up?
That tree was cleaned up. Mr. Wild was there. I gave them permission to pull on my property and bring the truck and the chipper down, and it was chipped up.
No, I'm talking
don't
about the
argue
tree
with
now.
you.
The tree that was,
I think I told you, I don't want to mention his name again, because me and him is.
right, because we had, the wastewater was down there numerous times, and there was a couple of times when they showed up that you guys had some words. Right.
Yeah, it showed up and says, yeah, this looks real nice. I got more brush down there that was washed down the creek that's on my property, and the tree across. And then I was told, oh, well, there's a lot of poison ivy and stuff in there. Okay, I understand, well, then why don't you wait till fall?
Well, they do wait till, they wait
Well,
until it's,
Here comes spring, and they ain't been by yet.
okay. Well, I can touch base with them, but they do walk through the creek and clean that up once a year and get any of the big trees or big
I'm
branches
sorry. I
through.
love you dearly.
I
As
love
a
you
friend,
too.
I'm sorry, they do not. If you're being told that, that is a lie.
Okay.
And Bob's nephew lives next to me, and he will vouch for the same thing. So that is not true. Whether it's the same people that have been down there or not, that is not being done. There's metal plates in there, metal poles. Nothing is being done.
Okay.
That's it. So what's being said about wastewater's doing their job? They ain't doing their job there.
I will respectfully disagree with you, but we can schedule a meeting if you would
Well,
like in my
I have
office.
pictures.
We can schedule a meeting if you would like in my office, but we have to agree to not get into any type of screaming matches, because that
Well,
won't be
you know, I
happening.
think what we need to do after the meeting over is to continue on this.
I have pictures.
We-
Okay,
we-
after
Everyone
the,
would like
after,
to see 'em.
Tom, after the meeting over, you can continue your conversation on with her and show her the pictures.
Well, we've already been down this route for a few
Okay.
Yeah,
times,
but-
so that's why I would like to schedule a meeting with wastewater and have them
Okay.
come in so we
Just,
can discuss it.
okay.
Well, why, this is my last question though, is, Pat, again, I don't want to argue with anyone. But how come the last, when Mr. Stalker was in, there was no question. A tree fell from somebody else's property. Within a week, the tree was removed. I don't care if they come in and dig up, make it easy on yourself. I'm not like that.
Right, but we're not allowed to go onto private property to remove anything either.
Well, he did, I'm telling you. it was done.
There were, yes. I'm not gonna speak badly about previous administration, so we're just gonna,
Right, well then,
leave that
whatever
conversation.
you would do, would you get Rudzik to come down with the bobcats? Because that's the last time that creek has ever even been half looked at.
okay.
So, like I said, I'm sorry, you could tell me, they could tell you how hard they're working on that creek. It's behind me every day of my life, and I've caught the one guy sneaking up in the back because he knows I've been watching for him. I scared the living shit out of him when I pulled up behind him in the woods down there. Because he's down there, but they ain't doing nothing. And I was told it was gonna be done, and the tree's still there. And if it's not gonna be there by spring, because if not, I'm gonna take care of it the way I take care of it.
Were you told initially that it would be taken
No,
care of?
well, first, initially I was told it's not their responsibility. Anything by that creek is not their responsibility at all, it's mine. Who chooses to keep it clean, can keep it clean. You know, if overgrowth happens, overgrowth happens. And it does fast. And I'll be the first to admit it. You know, I'm not looking for better homes and gardens myself. But I do want to keep it, and as I get older, you know, this stuff is gonna get harder and harder. I wanna get it all under control before I get too old. With that said, when I got a log that went from 4 houses up the street, washed down, well, who's responsible for that? Is it really my fault? Is it all my water, or is it Struthers' water, or Youngstown's water, or whose water is it?
Yeah, I mean, I understand that nobody's gonna come down there and beautify it.
I
And I think
don't expect it.
However, if there's something blocking the waterway that could be detrimental, that
Well,
kind
I
of
can't,
seems
how
like
about
a
if I
different
can't
story.
how about if you can't cut your grass? How about if a log is over onto your grass? Do you consider, no, I want someone's opinion. Is that considered bothersome, or should I just have to cut around it? Or nobody's gonna say no?
I would probably cut it and get rid of it
Yourself?
if nobody else can.
Okay, and I'm supposed to pay for it, right?
If you have insurance.
Make a statement.
Go ahead, Bob.
My mother lives on Spring Street right behind me, and I know when my father had his property surveyed, the survey stakes went right to the middle of the creek. His property was half of that creek. Now, as far as the logs washing down, and I could be wrong with this, but I would approach that the same as if a neighbor's tree fell onto your property. It's a neighbor's tree, but you're responsible to clean up what falls on your property.
If the neighbor knows it's not, yeah.
Right, if they weren't advised that it, but if it's part of a storm and it falls over onto your property, you're responsible for cleaning it up. And I would imagine that something drifting down the creek would fall under the same
Same
guidelines.
guidelines.
But your property line goes right to the middle of the creek. That being said, it is a waterway, so you can't dam it up or do anything else but it is still your responsibility.
Yeah, question for that. I'm sorry to keep everybody here. I know you guys want to.
No,
The night of the storm, down at the corner, Michael, what's the guy's name that rides the motorcycles and stuff right down on 8? Mike?
George Gligor,
George
George
Lee.
Gligor?
yes.
Funny that Jason Hall and everybody else was down there helping him clear all his shit out and all his logs and stuff that went down into the sewer.
There's a culvert there. They had to clear the culvert. If it's
Why?
prohibiting the flow of the water.
Well, what if this log prohibits the flow of the water? and
Is
it's
it?
not- I don't know, we haven't had a storm since. I'm sorry, I mean, I guess we're gonna all agree to disagree. I just find that really hard to believe, that that's the state that we're gonna be at. I really do. That it's gonna be that way. And it looks terrible, you can walk up and down it, and I can't believe anybody says they're clearing it. If they're clearing it, I'll show them the metal plates and pipes that I drug out of it. I really can't believe, Kat, that you're not that gullible. These guys are telling you that
I'm
they're
not
doing
gullible, but I
a good
do
job.
rely on the expertise
I
and the
feel-
knowledge of the wastewater department
Well,
and the
we'll leave it-
stormwater
okay.
department. I
We'll leave
do.
it at that.
Okay, I think after this meeting, if the mayor and safety director wishes to continue conversation, you can show them the pictures and maybe something else can,
I think we could just let it go and Tommy Blau will take care of it.
is there anyone else in the audience wish to address council? If none, just a reminder, finance meeting, 6 o'clock on January 18th. Motion adjourned, tonight's meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Dallas makes a motion.
Second.
Ronnie seconds that.
Yes. Mr. Balick?
Yes.
Mr. Bayes?
Yes.
Mr. Beagley?
Yes.
Mr. Burnside?
Yes.
Mr. Carselli?
Yes.
Ms. Greenwood?
Yes.